What it do, YouTube? It's your boy, my friend YC. We back on the reaction. Today we're reacting to Steph reacts to Giannis calling him the best player in the world. Before we say anything, let's just watch.
I think the best player in the world is the person that is the last man standing. You know, is the person that takes his team to the finish line, and helps them win the game. You know, win games and become champion. 2 years ago when we did that, yeah, you know, when I was sleeping in my bed, you know, I was like, yeah, maybe I'm the best player in the world, you know. But now, no. In my opinion, the way I view it, the winner is the best. The guy that wins is the best. When we play a game of ping pong, when I go in my house and I play against my brothers, when I win and I play against the Nazis, coaches and Alex, and then my mom and Mariah, and I win, I'm the best. Yeah, you know, if you know, Costas played really good, a great series, but he didn't win, how can he be the best when I won? You know, so that's how I view it. I believe that the best player in the world is Steph Curry until the next player.
He said what?
Giannis Antetokounmpo. He said that you're the best.
I was like, thought you were making that up.
No, he did. I guess they had their media day too, and he offered that.
Got you. Well, I don't know. What was the question? Sorry. Thanks for telling me that. Thank you, Giannis.
You get motivation if people are talking bad about you and putting you down and stuff like this. Is maybe too much the opposite way. People would be too nice.
Nah, I don't know if it was gamesmanship to set the table for. I would say the same thing when you're facing the champions. Like that's part of like the nature of the league. We all want to win, you know, the championship. And when you look at the team that's the last team standing, and you know who was playing the best, I was thinking the same thing about him last year, you know, coming off their run. So I appreciate the compliment. It's not going to soften me up to get complacent at all.
I mean, it makes sense. The best player in the world is the player that wins the championship last. So I'm curious, like, does he think Bill Russell is the greatest player of all time because he's won more than everybody else? Or does he think Michael Jordan's the greatest player? I'm curious to hear his opinion. And I don't know how long he's been following basketball, like, or how much he knows about the sport. Probably, if I had to guess, probably not that much, but you know, that's fair. That's a fair opinion. That's a fair assessment. Whoever's the best player, you know, as people, as analysts, we like to dive into the nuances of, you know, basketball and say, well, you know, if Chris Middleton wasn't injured, then you guys would have won. He's like, nah, I mean, it doesn't seem that he cares about that because he already knows when they beat the Brooklyn Nets, he wasn't saying, damn, if Kyrie was healthy and Harden was full, he don't care. He don't give a fuck about that. Nobody gives a fuck when it happens to you, so you can't give a fuck when it happens to other people. That's just the way of the land, you feel me? Because somebody gonna get injured. Somebody important is going to get injured every playoff. So we can't say, oh, well, if so-and-so wasn't injured, if you know, Kawhi wasn't injured, maybe they wouldn't have won because the Suns lose to the Clippers, whatever. Or, you know, if Middleton wasn't injured, or if Curry wasn't injured a few years back, or if Kyrie wasn't injured on the Cavs and then injured on the Nets, and then Harden was injured and CP was injured, there's always gonna be, oh, what if so-and-so wasn't injured? None of that matters, because when it goes down in the history books, when I Google who was the 2021 NBA champ, the Milwaukee, who was the 2022 NBA, the Golden State Warriors, it's not gonna be an asterisk, like we like to, the little asterisk, well, you know, Chris Middleton was injured. Nobody's gonna care about that. Nobody's gonna think about that in 50 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's really gonna care. At the end of the day, do you have the jewelry or not? And I respect it. You know what I mean? I respect it because a lot of guys, you know, I respect the consistency at least. You know what I mean? Because a lot of guys do play into that. You know, like, you know, well, I feel like at full strength, like Giannis is not, he don't really seem to care about full strength. Whoever you roll out there, you the winner, you lose, bruh. I don't care about no nuances. I don't care about no, well, if, none of that. Whoever wins is whoever wins. Eat up. Everybody else, eat up. That's it. No talking. There's no dissecting. There's no nothing. Everybody who analyzes the game, that's what they get paid to do. What ifs? You know, they tell great stories. You know, who's the greatest player of all time? That's just it's really a story. It's really just a story. There's no definitive answer about who's the greatest player of all time. It's all just about the story. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar dominated dominated in college. MVP 20 years, all-time leading scorer. Michael Jordan, the back-to-back three-peats. All it is a story. All it is story. Kobe Bryant, the most resilient, and not to say that the stories don't have value. It's Kobe, especially, is inspirational. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kobe was adamant in learning and growing, and people take that into consideration when they talk about who's their GOAT. So really, just about the story. It's not really only about, oh, who do you think was the most like skilled, and even that is story. Because skill technically only means the ability to do so. That's all it means. It doesn't mean like having great muscle memory, or like, it doesn't mean that. So a prime Shaq is scoring at the same rate as a Kobe Bryant, like, type shit. Like, you know what I mean? But because he's not skilled in what we define as skill. So all of it is a story. Giannis, all this proved to me right here. I don't care about no story, bro. I'm not a storyteller. I don't read fables. I don't read fiction. I'm all about that non-fiction. It's either you got the ring or you don't. The check hit the account or it didn't. You got the job or you didn't. You either got a divorce or you got a marriage. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's either it is or it isn't. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of refreshing in a world where everybody likes to dissect and storytell everything when it comes to basketball and give their opinion. He's like, his is straight up and down, very black and white. Like, they the champs, he's the best. When we was the champs, I was the best. When LeBron was the champ, he was the best. Period. Point blank.